going to join the Army because I want to get girls. You know how on TV you always see those military guys walking around in bars and women coming up to them and being like, I love a man in a uniform. And then they go back to the apartment and he nails her, and there's this scene where she's smoking a cigarette and looking very serious right before he gets out of bed to get dressed. Yeah, that's going to be me. I'm going to go into basic training and run around and do push-ups and get some really awesome muscles, and then I'm going to go to a bar, and the bartender is going to say, it's on the house, son. Your money is no good here. And two really hot girls are going to walk up to me and say, we have a problem. My friend tells me that I'm the cuter one, but I think that she is the cuter one. What do you think? And then I'm going to say in my really deep man voice, I'm not sure I'm authorized to make a call like that. Then the girls, thinking that I'm just being polite like my grandma taught me, are going to take me back to their hotel room and take off all their clothes. Then I'm going to walk out of the hotel room and they are going to be standing there at the door saying, we'll see you next time, Sugar Plum. And I'm just going to keep walking because that's what macho military men do. It's not going to be like the other day with Christy Scott. Not like the time I vomited in front of her in the lunchroom, or like the other day when she was in the library after school. She was sitting at a desk on the other side of the library, so I got up and walked over there. Hello, I said. Hello, I said a little louder. Hello, she said. What are you doing in the library? I asked. I'm working on my oral presentation. What kind of oral presentation are you working on? It's for English class, she said. Oh, are you guys talking about the use of literary devices in Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven? No, we're talking about Romeo and Juliet. Oh, that is one of my favorites. I offered to help her on her project, and she told me that that would be good. She told me her report was on the life of William Shakespeare, and then she walked off into the stacks to get more books. After she'd been gone for a few minutes, I started writing about how William Shakespeare traveled around with a band of actors. I talked about how some people thought he was gay and how King James was a patron of his theater. I also talked about how his theater brought together the lower, middle, and upper class people, and how it made them laugh and cry and feel weird together. I wrote about how some of his plays were really funny and kind of sad, and how some of his other plays were really sad and kind of funny, like when King Lear was naked on the throne in that cave. That's so funny, but not really funny because, well, anyway. But really, Shakespeare's plays are just about being human, about being put in uncomfortable situations where people love you and hate you and pretend to be things that they are not, but sometimes they really are. Anyway, a really long time went by while I was writing that stuff down. So much time went by that a librarian came over and told me that the library was closing soon. So I picked up the copy of Riverside Shakespeare and went to put it back on the shelves. Then, while I was putting the book away, I thought I heard something coming out of one of the private study rooms. I went over there to see what it was, and it sounded like Christy was being attacked. So I went inside, and Alan was kissing Christy up against the wall and thrusting his hips into an empty space underneath her tennis skirt. When she saw me, she said, "Get out of here, you little perv." And I tried to say something, but Alan pulled away from her and started walking toward me really fast with his wiener poking out. So I got out of there as fast as I could because I didn't want Alan to beat me up again, or worse. After that, I just went back to the table and put my paper next to Christy Scott's bag and left. When I was walking home, I passed an Army recruiting center and started thinking about how all the Army men on TV get the pretty girls. When I walked inside the office, a big muscle man... Sorry, my lips are real dry. When I walked inside the office, a big muscle man was typing at a desk. The typewriter looked like something you could use to break down a door, and the man hunched over it and made it look like it was a toy. I bet that guy got a lot of pretty girls because he was so big. But when he saw me, he stopped typing. He took off his glasses and placed them inside the desk. His hand shook a little when he closed a drawer. It surprised me because he didn't look like the kind of man whose hands ever shook. His eyes scared me a little bit when he gave me his full attention. They looked like Alan's eyes when I walked in on him and Christy Scott. The muscles in his jaws were tight, and for a second I thought he was going to get up out of his chair and beat me up, but his face changed. He got really serious looking for a second. felt like he was looking right through me, and then his face hardened again. "Are you here to sign up for the army, boy? Do you want to be all that you can be?" "Yes," I said. He shot backwards in his chair like he'd waved a dead animal in his face. Then he did something weird. He leaned forward until it looked like he was squatting in his chair and stared down at the floor for a second. When he looked back at me, his head was tilted a little. "Go home," he said. But this time his voice sounded different. It sounded like something heavy had been pulled out of him and was resting on his shoulders. I reached down and scratched myself a little. Then I turned around and walked out of the door, thinking that I would be back. "Thank you."